Hi everyone, I'm Charice. Jin mentioned that he's been sharing his stories at Cerber with you all, and I think I have a fun one for you. Now that you know Adeline has more money than God but lacks the manpower, advertising is hard when you're trying to run a secret service in its own sorts. Anyway, Adeline has assigned me to the open office in Birmingham, Alabama. Saturated with the ghosts of Civil War past and quite a lot of cicada mutations, with a penchant for sweet tea. A decently lucrative location, untapped by Cerber or any other paranormal services for that matter. No, ghost hunter guilds don't count as paranormal services. I'll start by saying that I spoke with my previous passengers about airing this out, and not only did they agree to allow me to tell you all, they informed me that they're doing a similar thing. Poor kids have had it rough. I mean, they've had it rough. I'm sorry. The scene is set somewhere close to Bessemer, Alabama for the majority of the encounter. You'll have to forgive me. I'm still learning the area, but the general vicinity had Bessemer in the radius. However, I was finished dropping off a shitty vampire in Tennessee when I got a ride request. I saddle up and make my way to them. I saw two ladies standing outside, one particularly voluptuous gal and another super cute hipster chick. This was my pickup and I was excited to be of service. I pull over, hop out of the car and chime, "Hello everyone! And who's my lucky passengers today?" I exclaimed, walking up to the two ladies before me. "I hope it's you, cutie," I added with a tasteful and timeless wink. Huh?" said the hipster chick with a shy disposition. Oh, she was adorable. "What? No, it's, yes, no. She made the request, but I'm coming too," she added, pointing to her friend, causing the friend to groan. "Oh, well, lucky me. Well, actually, you're the lucky ones. Lucky I was already passing through to help open a new center down here. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been another drive of 200 miles. So, where are we going?" "Bessemer." Hipster chick, we'll call her HC for short, said quietly, visibly nervous. Psh, I was the hue in here. What gives? I started getting a bit of a vibe, but I wasn't sure if it was something to fear or if the gals were just first-timers, causing them to be generally nervous. Something was up, though. I maintained my suave disposition, hoping to ease whatever was causing a fuss. "Ah, excellent. That'll be pretty close to where I was headed anyway. Everyone ready?" I said with as much enthusiasm as possible. So after they all say their goodbyes, the two gals loaded their bags into the back and hopped into the SUV for the 3.5-hour drive. The drive is very lackluster for sightseeing, but I had plenty of eye candy in my very own vehicle. She sat as though she was wrestling with about 6 different emotions at once. Poor girl looked like her skin was suffocating her. I like to think I'm pretty good at reading the room and can confidently say that I care enough about the people therein, no matter the situation. So, I decided to flirt, naturally. Long ride, no decent radio stations. It's playtime. "I like the hipster look," I said, glancing to the rearview mirror. "It suits you." What? Hipster? You know those are fighting words down here, right?" she nipped. "Well, I just meant the glasses and baggy shirt and the gym shorts and the Chuck Taylors," I trailed off, partially in jest, partially in earnest. "This is how I dress to sit in the car for 3.5 hours. People actually dress like this on purpose where you come from?" she said, sounding genuinely annoyed. "Not to fret, I have plenty of time to turn this around. When I'm good and ready." "Well, yes. A lot of people in California go through a lot of trouble and spend a lot of money to look like they bought everything they're wearing at a thrift store." "You bought everything you're wearing at a thrift store." Fuck, I sound elitist, and the Bay Area part of my brain screamed, "That wasn't very cash money of you." "Yes, I did," she replied, the anguish visibly growing. "Oh, I'm sorry," I apologized, feeling like the dick in the punch bowl. "Yeah, whatever. Nice front, Terminator," she jabbed. I have to admit, that was smooth as hell and I deserved it. "Dang, girl," I mumbled in defeat, keeping my eyes forward. Something was up. Given I was being pretty unprofessional for the sake of entertainment and high hopes, but this element of trepidation was definitely predisposed. I spent a lot of the better part of an hour thinking about what I can do to fix my behavior and how to make the two girls feel better. Something was screaming trouble the moment they got in my car, and knowing that I may have aggravated the situation was making me feel tremendous guilt. I battled with my internal monologue until I saw a fucking spaceship. I yanked the wheel of my car off the highway and pulled into an apparent rest stop to check it out. "Holy shit, it's a spaceship!" I yelled, scrambling to get out of the car. And I wasn't alone. The bodacious one followed suit so we could check it out. Hey, small things, am I right? After taking pictures under the burners and with the shuttle in the distance, we took a pee break and were back on the road. We kept on our route for most of the trip, only stopping to eat at a Waffle House. We had to come to a mutual agreement that even if we weren't starving, it was a situational necessity that I experience a Southern Crown jewel. Over our elective breakfast, Tegan and HC spoke in weird code, trying to give me names and faces without divulging what was soon to be known as an absolute shit show. They were definitely admitting, and I wanted to believe it was because they cared about my safety, though I knew better. But I did appreciate the index of who I was going to come in contact with. My best advice to you folks is to brush up on HC's logs if you want a full scope of the situation. For this is my telling as I saw things, and boy is it muddled. Reading back, I wish I knew beforehand so that I could have been better with these kids. Maybe you folks will have some helpful advice on the matter. Who knows? Not long after that, we were approaching our destination. As we rounded the last turn, there was a U-Haul rental truck parked outside of what was supposed to be where we were going. Odd, but I've seen stranger. Do you want me to wait for a minute? You know, just in case. I ask, still feeling a growing element of concern for these two. Yeah, maybe that's probably best, HC said. Her friend, my passenger known as Tegan, agreed. As we pulled up, HC and Tegan began to approach the door. The man in all black, wearing a pair of those old-timey round glasses, exited the house, carrying with him a box of what looked like random computer and surveillance equipment as he made his way to the truck. I was right, something was up. HC and Tegan approached the guy, seemingly just to talk, and he didn't seem to want any part of it. I heard HC yell, "Hey! Wait a goddamn minute!" Then she grabbed this dude by the arm, holding him in place, and said something else. I could only hear what was yelled, so I caught virtually no dialogue between the three of them. HC's grip gave the man pause, but he seemed relatively unfettered by it. HC, in turn, seemed to have gone from annoyed to distressed in a span of seconds. He said something that caused HC to release the dude's arm in haste. Damn, I really wish I could hear and get a scope of what's happened. I then hear HC yelp, "I'm sorry!" and retracted her arms behind her back. Then something happened. She was shaking. HC couldn't contain whatever it was she was hiding during the ride. I could feel a sense of desire to flee radiating from her direction, and I didn't like it. They stood there in a cloud of discontent when the guy takes his glasses off, revealing icy blue eyes. Definitely not human. Suddenly, HC jerked her body in a 180 fashion. The dude put a notepad against her back and wrote something down. He tore off the piece of paper, handed it to HC, said a few things, then headed to his truck. Transaction completed, I assumed. I saw HC reading the contents of the note, then watched her turn to Tegan, who was looking down at something in the grass. They exchanged a few words about it, keeping both the note and newly acquired item. These girls are fucking trouble. I love it. What the hell was that all about? I asked, not particularly worried about hiding my concern. I've had all kinds of monsters and demons and mythological beings in my back seat, but none of them gave me the bad vibes that fellow just did walking past my window. I let off an involuntary shudder, recalling the ominous nature of that guy. I'm not sure. He gave us an address, though. We're supposed to go see this guy instead, I guess, she said, handing me a piece of paper. Well, it's got really nice penmanship. Do you want us to go ahead and set a new destination in the app? HC asked, as if it was a real option for her. Which it wasn't. Plus, I've grown fond of these two, and I'm really interested after the dagger eyeball incident. No, it's fine. It isn't too far away. Only a few miles, actually. I showed her my phone. See? We're here, and this is Makala. Right next to each other. So this one's on me, okay? What? Really? Thank you! Bless her heart, she was so cute. 10 minutes later, and we're climbing out of the SUV at our new destination and saying our goodbyes. I'm sorry about the Terminator thing. That was too much. HC said. Poor thing, she's been through enough. The fact that she even had an apology in her scopes tells me that she's good people. No, she's great people. Oh, don't worry. I've been called worse. I actually have a friend, Jim, back at home, who... Oh, he's going to love hearing about that one. I say, trying to iron out some of her guilt. It's so cute, I'm gonna die. Wait, the Jim with all the crazy reviews, Jim? Yep, that's Jim. Oh my god, that guy is great. I want to meet him so bad, she exclaimed. I laugh. Maybe you will sometime. I'm sure he'd get a kick out of you two. I chortled, watching Tegan struggle with her bag. Well done. I'll see you on my way back. A week and a half, right? Yeah, that's supposed to be how long it's gonna take. See you then, she replied, walking to the back of my car to grab her bag as well. Roger that, I replied, putting my car in gear and getting back to my hotel. I needed to shower after this long-ass ride. Now, I know a lot of this doesn't make any sense. Personally, I still don't really get it. I know these girls have the weight of the world on their shoulders and are harmless to me. However, something tells me that they're quite capable of crumpling me like an empty tin can. There's an element of nubile power behind their strides, like something tremendous has been dropped on them without direction. I came back to my hotel room for that shower I promised myself. When I get out, I see missed calls from Jim. I called him back and we talked about his run-in with a kitsune and a yaoguai. I'd like to remind all of you about how he neglected to tell me about Lamashtu on that call. Rude. I had to find out via tense conversation with our boss. Pretty sure he broke some form of bro code there. I think I know why he didn't say anything, though. I guess it's along the same lines of running into an ex-partner of your friend or something. Jim is mouthy, but I think subconsciously he means well. Anyway, I didn't have any other passengers for the week, as this office is brand new. I spent a lot of the time setting up the office, buying necessary company cars, general needs for an operation such as this to run smoothly. Thankfully, I'm not responsible for advertising nor hiring. Adlin has a tech team that does that from their own homes, be it a studio apartment in Oakland or a cave off the coast. The week went by very slow and I spent most of the time in the office as well as my room. My spoiled Bay Area ass can't handle southern heat beyond their version of Mexican food. The only field work I've done has been with HC and Tegan, which I'm keeping off the books. I counted down the days until I got to see the girls again. I get the request from Tegan, grab my coffee and head over. I waited outside and witnessed the sleepy HC being carried out on tripods? Then some guy was on the roof in an obnoxious black witch's hat yelling, "Fly, my pretties! Fly! Fly!" Yeah, I rolled up into a horror scene in its own right. Weirdos. I spotted these things carrying something else. Whoa! What the hell is that? I yelled, pointing at the massive fur, teeth, and claws being carted along by the metallic minions. Oh, that would be Tegan. HC replies, trying to fasten herself together. Well, good thing my windows are illegal level tinted. I tried to reassure. HC wasn't doing well. Her rigid movements looked like the result of 10,000 rounds lost with Joe Palooka. Not to mention seeing how exhausted she was to boot. Something happened? You look like hell. Oh, I do, because I feel great. Yeah, we had a bit of a vampire drama last night. The bodies! She frantically searched the yard for any signs of God knows what. That dude in a witch hat pulled a decapitated body down that had been impaled on his inappropriate architecture. He then gave us a wave as he proceeded to drag the body behind the house. Yeah, some vampire drama last night. It got pretty rough and Tegan had to hulk up to get us out of trouble. Oh my god, are you okay? You're not hurt, are you? I yelled, jumping out of my car with genuine concern. There's been an ominous aura around these gals, and while nothing was deliberately alarming, not as the paranormal is concerned at least, it still felt as though danger was looming. I may be overreacting, but it's not without just cause. I'm fine, she groaned, pushing my hands away. Just sore is all. Shortly after her sad attempt at convincing me she was fine, one of those little scatterbots dropped a large, heavy weapon on her foot, causing HC to reel back in pain. HC's response? Yelling, "Ow, you fuck!" Then she kicks the damn thing. The robot thingy. It's like she took lessons in common sense from Jim. I was half expecting her to whine about needing tacos directly after. HC drops to her knees, screaming, "Oh, god damn it!" Partially from pain, mostly from realizing that one was on her. Defeat. She experienced defeat. It was rather cute. The metal tripod bounced a few times before righting itself. Then it scurried around in circles before making a final dash towards the house. It was then that I noticed that a few more of them were marching our way with a wooden crate, accompanied by... Hep? Hephaestus? I yelled in excitement at the slim chance of running into someone I know, so far from home.
No! What the hell are you doing here?
Hep screamed back at me.
Does she know where I am?
No, don't be silly. Helen doesn't even know I'm making this stop. She is looking for you, though. Hephaestus, you old softy.
Is that what she's going by now? Well, she can keep looking. Don't you dare tell her where I am, or I swear on everything you love I'll make sure that you wake up every morning with that prosthetic leg kicking its way up your ass!
What are you not telling us? HC interjected quietly. Oops, right, professional. I'm a professional. He leaned into HC's ear to whisper something I couldn't make out at first, then screamed,
"And stop calling me that! I don't even like it when she does it!"
He yelled in my direction, right next to her head, causing her to flinch.
"Everything you need is in that crate. Have fun!"
He finished before shooting me a sharp look and making his way back towards his shop, his metal tripods following close behind him in single file. Tegan and a very rattled HC crawled into my back seat, ready for a drive. As soon as HC hit the seat, she passed out. I couldn't tell if she fainted or she was exhausted as she looked. Neither of those possibilities were comforting. But it's not like she wasn't safe, so I didn't fuss over it. Tegan seemed really unfettered by HC chunking out, which helped me relax. I didn't feel like it was polite to ask what was up, and I thought it was even more inappropriate for someone else to speak on her behalf. So I just did what I do best. Drove. We pull into the driveway and I watch as some people dart into the house upon our arrival. Maybe this was the trouble I was anticipating. Hey. Your friends all just ran back into the house when they saw me pull up. I think something might be up, I said, shaking HC awake. What do you mean something? Those sons of bitches! I knew they were hiding something! HC yelled, snapping into an upright position, which made Tegan and I jump. This girl is going to give me a damn heart attack. She has absolutely no chill. Pushing the SUV door open, HC jumped out and started making a mad dash for the front door. Tegan, grab the bags and shit! HC started. Okay, wait. Maybe you might want to pull up a bit closer so she can get inside quicker. HC barked at me. I pulled up closer, jumping out, making my way to the front door whilst HC managed to dramatically kick it down, screaming something about Mark. I said, did you assholes kidnap Mark? HC yelled into a room of people, seemingly unfettered by her theatrics. Who's Mark? I asked, looking around for a place to lay Tegan down. They, Mark, she answered, Milo still dangling from her hand. The who? What are you saying to me? Well, it's funny you should ask. You see, these fuckwits, she exclaimed, using Milo as a pointer to gesture to the rest of the room's occupants. We're supposed to be running a con on this guy, Mark, while me and Tegan were shacked up with the mad scientist getting the weapons made, she exclaimed, shooting a dagger-cloaked glance at everyone. God damn it, I just drive. How did this turn into cons and scavenger hunts?
For fuck's sake, if someone's out there, please help me!
A voice sliced through the tension. Oh my god, did you guys really kidnap somebody? I asked, not sure who the bad guys are anymore. For all I know, I could be assisting a heist to criminals, and human law doesn't care for that, let alone paranormal codes. Fuck my life. It's starting to look that way. H.C. growled, making her way towards the garage, dragging Milo along the floor behind her. We all started to scurry and follow her as she stomped through the house and snatched open the garage door to reveal a man bound to one of the steel support beams by a bike lock, looped around his neck. Oh, now what in the goddamn Breaking Bad hell is this shit? H.C. screamed at everyone. Oh, thank God. You, girl, please get me out of this. I won't tell anyone anything. I swear, just let me go. The dude begged as soon as he saw H.C. Oh, wow. You guys really kidnapped someone. I chimed, dragging Tegan along to congregate over their hostage. Alright, look, Milo shouted, standing up off the floor and straightening his shirt. I tried it the way we planned, okay? He was just smarter than we all thought. My facade was seamless, but he saw through it. No, it wasn't, dude said from his pole in the garage. I was onto him like a day. He's the worst actor I've ever seen. Shut your mouth, liar! Milo shouted, trying to make his way around HC to get to Mark, I'm assuming? Without formal introduction and the topical, frantic nature of everyone, that this was Mark. Just admit I had you fooled. You literally asked me where the vampires had out like 6 hours after we met. How stupid can you be? If you were smart, you would have tried to befriend me slowly and gradually hint at wanting to get in on something more profitable and off the books, dipshit. Oh dear God, HC sighed, rubbing her temples. None of you were watching him or giving him advice on anything? Well, none of us have exactly ran a con before. Hey, don't look at me, Gay Jake said, HC shooting her rage in his direction. I'm just the sugar daddy here. I ain't these little hooligans' babysitter. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, have you at least got anything out of him yet? Not exactly, Leslie answered. He hasn't been very cooperative since he got here. I suggest we don't feed him, and then when he gets hungry enough, he'll tell us something. But, what's her face, the short one? Milo said, pointing at Jonah. She said, oh, we can't do that. It's torture. Or whatever. I had to keep a chuckle pushed down. I didn't want to aggravate the situation, but this was about as smooth as a stucco, and that was hilarious. Because it is torture, you unbearable ass! Jonah yelled back at Milo, swatting his hand away. Oh dear Lord, child, I've been dealing with this ever since you left, Gagey complained to HC. They have been at each other's throats 24/7, and my anxiety medication is running way too low for any more of their shit, he said, pulling Jonah away from Milo and positioning her at the other side of the room where we had gathered and were now staring into the garage. So we don't know anything, she started but was interrupted by Mark yelling over her. So are you gonna let me out or what? Hey! Shut up! One more word and I'll feed you to Tegan. What's a Tegan? He asked nervously. Tegan raised her chimera-riddled head on cue, sending Mark into hysterics. Oh, what the hell is that? What the... Mark gagged, managing to choke himself out on a bike lock. Fight or flight doesn't care about the logic of being constrained. It does what it wants. Everyone took a moment to giggle a bit as Mark sat, resting against the pole trying to catch his breath. I remained quiet, absorbing the situation.
Yeah, he hasn't said a word that wasn't him complaining about something. Every single one of us took turns questioning him, but he'd just belch in our face or pull his pants down and shit on the floor whilst we were talking to him.
He added, and everyone murmured in agreement, sharing their own personal Mark interrogation horror story. The personal constitution of each individual in this room was strong with notes of defeat and frustration. I had a hard time believing these kids were bad in nature, what with the fumbled execution of literally everything they did. This didn't bring me a great deal of comfort, as local law enforcement doesn't care if someone's heart's in the right place whilst breaking the law. With the rate they were going, I was shocked that no one had busted the door down to make arrests already. Even with the situation gnawing at me, I maintained an element of confidence as best as I could. Maybe if I give it a try, he'll...
I'm not telling you shit about shit, so you might as well let me go, you dumb cunt!
Okay, guys. I'm gonna need just a minute here with our guest. Just 1 minute. She shuts the door to the garage, closing herself in with Mark. Great, as if I hadn't had my fair share of conspiratorial involvement. Why not add a murder to it, too? The least they could do was offer a spliff. Terrible hosts, really. The next 2 minutes were a bit of a blur. We all kept silent, knowing damn well it was best to stay out of it. First I heard HC say, "You like Mother Goose?" as if she was right next to the door. After a brief pause, I could still faintly hear her say, "Mother Goose, you know, like the nursery rhymes," with a sense of tasteful arrogance. I was rooting for her. Mark is a douche. I could hear Mark frantically shouting, but still, we all stayed put. He could tell that everyone was nervous, no matter how great our poker faces were. Out of nowhere, you could hear Mark yelp,
I don't know what you're talking about, lady!
Causing every last one of us to jump. We listened like cats on a ceiling. There was another lull, which only made me feel like I was playing a game of Russian roulette. Any moment now. A wet squelching sound pierced the air, followed by Mark screaming. As I sat with Tegan, the others bolted to the door, slamming their fists and pleading with HC. If he's still able to scream, then she's not finished with him. I say put. Call me callous, call me cruel, but not even Jim can place himself atop the throne of biggest dumbass after this guy. Jim, if you're reading this, please learn from some poor bastard's mistakes. Just this once. There was another low hum of conversation, not audible enough for us to hear. About 5 minutes after, HC came through the door, blood on her face. I'll give you one shot as to whose blood you think it might be. Everyone darted into the garage behind HC to assess the mess. HC calmly spoke. You can leave after we get our bags and box from your car. I nodded proudly. We scooped Tegan up and carried her upstairs to her room. Once we settled the broken one into her bed, HC and I made our way down to my car and collected the remainder of their things. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. There's a sense of camaraderie when you learn through someone else's actions just how similar you are. HC was about as defenseless as a puma, but as graceful as a horse on roller skates. Strong, brave, accountable, but really fucking clumsy in the logic department. Someone will have to atone for this strange endeavor, but I pity the poor soul that tries to come down on HC. She's the last person anyone should ever corner, and I hope this won't be the last time I see her. In the middle of wrestling with my thoughts, Jonah comes screaming at HC. He said you ate his finger! Slanderous lies. HC smiles sheepishly.
He said you ate his finger,
Milo said, retrieving the first aid kit from the kitchen cabinet.
Nice,
he added, giving HC the thumbs up, causing it to fumble the kit across the living room floor. Yeah, none of us really disagree with that decision. He's lucky the finger was the chosen appendage. HC placed a heavy pine box onto the couch and said to me, Okay, you can hit the road now if you want, or stay and rest up for a while if you prefer. I appreciate that, but I think I might want to make my way out of the hostage situation as soon as possible. I said, grateful that this didn't turn into a murder situation, though I would have understood. Maybe I can say goodbye to Tegan before I go? I asked, feeling a lump in my throat. I think she'd like that very much, H.C. answered, leading me upstairs. Milo was already on the bed next to her, both arms around her hairy shoulders, comforting her as she breathed heavily, as if she were exhausted and trying to catch her breath. I walked over, embracing them both in a weird spooky boy cuddle puddle, and whisper, "It was nice to meet you. I hope to see you again sometime, when you're feeling better." As we walked to my car, we stopped next to Gay Jake on the way out. Tegan's phone got the fare notification, but it should pop up in your emails and recent charges, I said, waving her phone with the Cerber app open on the screen. The return trip was on me, so that should help with the cost a lot. I was having the hardest time leaving them behind. The tension was always high, but I'm walking away from the sense of unity that will inspire me for years to come. "Oh, honey, that shouldn't be a problem. You just go on and get yourself home safe now, you hear?" he said as he pulled out his own phone and started checking his emails. HC and I said a very awkward goodbye. Both of us seemed to have been sad, and both of us also understood that making a big deal about it would just make us feel icky. I got in my car and punched in my coordinates for the next stop, the airport. As I was adding the location, I heard Gay Jake scream, "What? Are you kidding me? How much?" Oh god, I think I'm gonna throw up. Girl, hold on to me. My legs are going numb. My mouth kicked up a sly smile, releasing a chuckle. Serves you right. Werewolves are assholes. Before you go, I'd like to shamelessly plug a video on my other channel, Basically Nature. I explore who would win in a fight between a lion and a silverback gorilla using scientific research and news articles to back up my own zoological opinion. I had a lot of fun making the video, and it would mean a lot if you guys checked it out. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. And if you're an animal lover like me, please consider donating to the World Land Trust, a charity that aims to help wildlife through buying land, preventing development, and helping endangered species.